All right, let's call this meeting to order, please. Welcome to the Scio Township Board of Trustees meeting, January 27th, 6 o'clock. We began our meetings earlier, so hopefully we can get out by midnight instead of 1. Anyways, let's, Clerk Flintoff, you could call the roll, please.
Carey,
Present.
Yapel,
Present.
Flintoff, present. Brandt,
Here.
Noel,
Here.
Reed, Riser.
Here.
All present. Also here are Township Attorney Mariah Fink and Office Coordinator Christy Aiken.
Okay, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody back? Okay. Adoption of the agenda. Are there any proposed changes?
I have a change.
Okay, Christy, if you don't mind, I'll
Oh, nope,
just
go
start
ahead.
at the other. Go ahead.
Okay,
Trustee Brandt,
so-
I'm sorry, Noel.
Laura has requested that we remove Amber Grove from the agenda. The Road Commission has requested to have the driveway approach off Jackson Road shifted to the east to match up with the existing commercial driveway approach on the south side. So, in summary, she would like it tabled probably until the next meeting, the next regular meeting, and we evaluate the new plan that has just been submitted. There was a question as to whether this new plan had to go back to the Planning Commission, and now the thinking is that it probably doesn't because it was never an approved PUD plan in the first place. This is still just the draft plan. We hadn't approved it yet. So we'll be discussing all of this at our next regular meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else?
I have a question. If I oppose K8 and want to vote no on K8, do I need to pull K8 to vote no? I'm not interested in a long discussion. Or do I just vote no against the consent agenda? What's the?
You could do either. You'd be voting no on the whole consent.
Right, so could I pull K8 and add it to the last thing we do, or wherever people want it? I'm not looking for a extended discussion.
We can move that to unfinished business since we've already had a discussion, or at the last meeting.
Like N3?
K8 to, well, it would still be N3, or K8.
Under N2.
Okay. Could I please move that there?
Okay, sure.
And then I would move for additions of K 12, 13, and 14 to consent that were placed in front of us by Christy Aiken, if that's okay?
That's exactly what I was proposing.
I have a suggested change.
Okay.
I'd suggest we move 03 to consent.
I support that.
Which one, Kathleen?
03.
So that'd be like a K,
That, it
15,
keeps,
but
we
you really
keep, we
call it
keep the
03.
letters and the numbers the way
Yeah,
they are for
it would
lack
just be
of
after.
not
Okay.
being confusing.
Okay. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Trustee Reed? No.
Oh, three.
I beg your pardon. I withdraw mine.
So 03 to consent.
Consent, okay. So, and then K 12, 13, 14 under consent, 03 under consent, K8 pull from consent to under N2 under unfinished business, and, oh, you had something?
Yeah, in addition to the addition of K14, I would also like to add G3. Aurora is prepared to introduce Patricia Collier, proposed candidate for finance manager. under special topics.
Okay.
And I would also make a motion to table N2, if the board would entertain it, to the next regular work session, which is just in 7 days, February 3rd,
I would support a motion to.
under unfinished business. Okay,
February 3rd. And I'm sorry, what was G3, the name again?
Patricia
Patricia?
Collier. It is listed out in K14. I want to
Oh.
thank everybody for their hard work, especially Aurora Northrop, in getting this ready for today. And then the motion would be to move N2 to our special meeting in 1 week. Christie thought that would work well, given the topic of the next week's meeting anyways.
That's at the road commission?
WISD.
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 I'm so glad I asked.
You would have shown up at the wrong
WISD, everybody.
And then regarding item O2, I see that there's been no review or recommendation by our human resources manager, which is something we typically have for any proposed compensation adjustments. So I would my understanding.
Actually, it did go to our HR manager, because she had a conversation with Becky before, I mean, I don't know the exact time frame, but it was.
So I spoke with her today and said she says she has not been asked to provide a review and has not provided a review. I certainly see nothing in the packet. And so because of that, I would like our manager's review. I would make a motion to table item I2 and to direct our human resources manager to develop a recommendation to the board that's responsive to the assistant assessor's January 12th request, and to return to the board as soon as ready.
I support
Clarity,
that.
you said I2, I think you meant O2.
Excuse me, O2.
Yeah.
But it's your item, Jillian.
Yeah, well, there was exchange and conversation, and I guess during public comment, or we could wait until Becky can present what she has requested, then we can get to the bottom of this.
Well, I would just, I don't know, if it sounds like there may be a split vote. How do you want to handle the adoption of the agenda? Jillian, do you want to take this proposed change with the others and vote it? Or do you want to take the other changes and then take this one separately?
Well, let's, I guess, take this separately, but
Okay.
I would still like to hear from our assistant assessor
So
during public comments.
what was,
So I guess I would just then make a standalone motion, because there's been no review or recommendation by
There
our
has been review.
HR manager regarding item I2, as we typically require of any request.
O2.
O2, I'm sorry. Typically require of any requested compensation adjustments. I just make a motion to table it and to direct our human resources manager to develop a recommendation to the board, and return to the board as soon as it's ready.
I'll support that motion.
So we're voting on that separate right now.
Just that. one.
Okay, trustee Reed?
yes,
Actually, per our rules of order, we're going.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay.
Yep.
We rotate the order each time. So tonight, it happens to be me. Flintoff, yes. Brandt,
Yes,
Noel,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Riser,
yes.
Carey,
No,
Gapel.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-1.
I'd make a motion to amend the agenda to table O1 until the next meeting, pull K8 to under N2 on unfinished business, add K12, K13, K14 to consent, move O3 to consent, add G3 to introduce Patricia Collier, and table N2 until the February 3rd working session.
I'll support that motion.
Did you say 01 too, as well?
Yep.
Okay.
I support.
No,
I thought there was already support.
Okay.
Well, okay, vote, please.
You want a roll call that word?
It doesn't matter. Whatever. All in favor, say aye.
aye.
Opposed? None. Motion passes 7-0. Okay, adoption of the declaration of conflict. I do have, I would like to declare a conflict regarding potential conflict. N1, the liquor licenses, the DKY Sushi and Hometown Pizza. DKY, they are my neighbors and we are friendly. And I do frequent their restaurant here and there, but I just feel that it would not be fair to either parties if I was in on this vote.
For reasons stated on the record, I would make a motion to accept the supervisor from
Deliberating and voting on that.
deliberating and voting on item N1.
Support by riser.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Correspondence is received. Excuse me, has there been any more?
No.
Excuse me. Okay, on to special topics, G1. Possible action, introduction of Noah Huber for the consideration of the natural areas technician.
Aurora Northrop. So Noah should be on Zoom.
I just promoted on the panelist.
Great, ready?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I'm here to ask the board to approve a conditional offer of employment to Noah Huber, Natural Areas Technician. We currently have 2 positions open, and Noah has over 3 years of experience in land management. And some of you may recall that he was also with the township for about 8 months, seasonal, as a natural areas technician. So welcome. He will be an immediate asset to Scio Township.
And Aurora, when will they be starting?
February 2nd,
Awesome.
Monday. Do you have any questions for Noah, or?
Welcome.
Welcome,
back.
Noah. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Yeah, can't wait to work with you guys.
I mean, great resume, great bio. Thanks for all your help for Scio. I'm looking forward to more of your work.
Appreciate it. Yep, super excited to work with you guys.
Moving on to G2, public, or possible action, introduction of Allison Klanowski for the consideration of natural areas technician.
Yes, and Allison should also be on Zoom. Great.
Yes, just 1 second, promoting the panelist.
So this is Allison. Allison has 8 months' experience with the township also. She was seasonal natural areas technician, and she worked alongside Noah. She has over 1.5 years experience in various habitat management for parks, et cetera, natural areas. And she will also be an immediate asset to the township. And I'd like to give Allison a chance now.
Thanks for letting me come back, guys. I'm excited and I want to continue my work.
Great. Thank you, Allison. Excited too.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Allison and Noah, go green.
Go white.
Go white,
I'm in East
yeah.
Lansing right now. I love that.
Okay.
That was-
And then G3, possible action, introduction of Patricia Collier for the finance manager position.
Yes, and she is also on Zoom. I did speak with her that long ago, so she should be on Zoom.
She is.
Great.
She's working her way over to panelists.
Oh, great. So again, conditional offer of employment, Patricia Collier, as Supervisor Carey said, for the finance manager position. Of course, that position has been vacant, and Trish has advanced accounting experience with over 13 years in Wayne County finance and also retirement benefit plans. Managing those benefit plans. She will also be an immediate asset to the township in reviewing and supporting the financial operations, of course, with Nikki being recently hired also as the finance director. So we are looking forward to rounding out that team. And hopefully, if you have any questions of Trish, she likes to be known by Trish. She's ready to answer any questions.
When will she start?
February 23rd.
No, her resume, hello Patricia, or Tricia, I'm John, nice to meet you. Your resume, background looks fantastic, MBA in accounting, as well as a Bachelor, Science in Accounting, so congrats on your education and your experience, and welcome to Scio.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just wanted to say, Trish, we're really excited. It was a pretty competitive process. We had a lot of good candidates, and you were one of the great candidates, and we're just really looking forward to having your talents here at Scio. So thank you.
You're welcome, for sure. I'm looking forward to being part of this team.
Welcome, Trish.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Aurora, is there an update on the director or operations director?
Not yet, no. We are finalizing the list for a phone interview by myself. And then I will be working with MML to either a special meeting or during a board meeting, have the board interview the candidates.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks for all your work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now is the time for public comments. This is the time for the members of the public to speak to the Board of Trustees for up to 5 minutes on any matter. And we begin with anybody present, and please pay attention to the, oh, you have it in your hand.
Yeah.
The timer.
Can the people behind me hear me?
Yes.
I'm still hard of hearing, so I have my device on here. Pam Boyd, a Scio resident, Scio Community Newsletter. Ooh, that's too loud. Scio Government Watchdog. Kathy, I rewatched your reaction to public comments at the last board meeting. You said, and I quote, "And I just want to note that the words like despicable, immoral, and cruel were directed at this board, and I had difficulty listening to that. I also heard raised voices tonight, and some of those things I heard were misstatements of fact. You are a public figure, and we are your voters.
It's important to take our words to heart, not throw back your insecurities or your feelings. You prove that with your words that you can't handle someone who has an opinion different than yours. A good example is when you told Rob Pattinson that opinions vary. When he said he had fought for you in the previous administration, he fought long and hard for you, and you just shit on him on one of your strongest supporters with your opinions vary comment. I don't accept your recent lame excuse that you had a difficult time listening to what residents were telling you. That proves you've become weak and ineffective at doing your job. Your behavior in this past meeting and meetings for the past year shows you can't work with others. Do you really think that the people in the township hall last meeting would even consider voting for you for another term? Not in a million years. I no longer trust you to do the job of trustee to help make good, strong decisions for residents in this township. Ryan, let's go to you. Your board behavior has frankly shocked me. When you accused Supervisor Carey of bad behavior, where is your proof? Where are the recordings, the pictures, the emails from employees saying she's being mean to them? Your description of Supervisor Carey's supposed actions sound contrived. You must think Scio's employees are acting like restless natives needing to be put in their places instead of important wheels of production that do most of the real work in this township. Our employees are very important, but when you treat them like children, then you are the problem, not them. No wonder they're quitting. You have become very much a part of Scio's dysfunctional problem. You gang of four have been attacking Supervisor Carey with little to no proof, yet when residents bring you proof of the inability of Jessica to do her job as FOIA clerk, you use that as an excuse to blame the supervisor yet again. Why are you not holding Jessica accountable? You are failures at your jobs as on this board. You are failing the Scio residents who voted for you. Jessica, FOIA, FOIA, FOIA. Where exactly did that nasty note come from? And Jessica, you've been on the LASA boards for several years now. Why was it that I had to teach the previous chair about Open Meetings Act? Didn't you ever wonder why I was sent a copy of the agenda from the chair before every meeting? And why for years did you fail at that job as a member of Scio's board? Why did Rob Pattinson and I end up having to teach many boards and committees about Open Meetings Act several years ago? You have failed on your job on so many levels. I no longer have faith in this board, faith in a board member who tries to reduce the position of supervisor after all the backhanded things you've done to her. In closing, I'd like to point out to this board and residents alike that there is a clear reason why the Gang of Four cannot be trusted when it comes to things said against Supervisor Carey. Listen to how some on this board have responded to our public comments over the last year. They are treating us in a similar way they treat Supervisor Carey, with disdain. They have their seats in power, so they are dismissing us like yesterday's newspaper. This board's Gang of Four is the problem, not Supervisor Carey. Therefore, I announce that I, like Spartacus, am Jillian Carey. You have treated me in a similar way you are treating Supervisor Carey in your rebuttals to residents. You Gang of Four are the problem, not Supervisor Carey. I no longer have faith in any of you to do what is in the best interest of this township. I hope someone has the energy to do a recall on you four. I'll be the first to sign a petition. Thank you.
Hello, Caroline Altamar, Scio resident activist. Just wanted to know that the posted agenda, both on the printed and online, speak nothing about these other K-12, 13, 14s that you were talking about in the agenda. They're nowhere for us to see, just so you know. Somebody fell down and didn't get the updated agenda printed or online. Just went to the Scio website, it's not there. Okay, At the last board meeting, Kathleen said, and I quote, there has been talk about exit interviews, HR exit interviews, and performance records. I will assure you that there are exit interviews being conducted that go through our HR department. Those are confidential records. I've never seen one because I'm not allowed to see them. Well, Kathleen, let me quote you a section from the MTA. Section 5.2.7, employer access to personnel records. Board members and the superintendent, manager, personnel officer, other, shall be allowed to view any personnel file when necessary within the scope of their authority and responsibility. Confidential information contained in a personnel file shall be released to others only with written authorization of the employee. I will choose to believe that you are not lying, just ignorant. The employees are the ones that are suffering under the abusive culture of town hall. Do you really expect us to believe that, as you all put forth last meeting, that Supervisor Carey is the only person perpetrating abuse? You all said that at the last meeting. Not one of you offered any responsibility of your own for the poor morale in town hall. Not one. Sorry, that's just beyond belief. How can the staff ever hope to avoid retaliation when it's their boss or bosses that are abusing them? Here's another interesting section from the MTA, and I hope that there's some staff members that are listening. Section 5.17, non-retaliation. A township hall shall not tolerate retaliation against any employee or other person who in good faith reports a violation or perceived violation of township policies, or retaliation against any employee or other person who participates in any investigation as a witness otherwise. Retaliation is a serious violation of this policy and is subject to discipline up to and including discharge. Any employee must promptly report any acts of retaliation to his or her department head. It's a little hard to do when all the bosses are in on the cover-up. Oh, and one more tidbit from the MTA. And listen, anybody who's listening who's a volunteer for the township, 5.7, volunteers. Township volunteers shall be reimbursed for mileage and reasonable expenses at the reasonable rate and the reimbursement policy. So, yes, so people who are on the road advisory committee can get reimbursed for their mileage. So now, onto FOIA and cognitive dissonance. I refer to the letter from Renee Smallwood regarding the handling of her FOIA requests, or should I say the mishandling of her FOIA requests. I also refer to Pam Boyd's FOIA requests. Please tell me why Kirk Flintoff can be so completely derelict in her duties as FOIA manager and suffer absolutely no consequences. The assessor makes a smallish, easily corrected error, and much more action is taken against her. Frankly, legal action for the clerk's misconduct is completely reasonable. Boy, I hate to think that she's counting on the residents feeling that filing a lawsuit is too cumbersome. To treat residents that way looks like either she has no respect or contempt towards the residents or has something to hide. And she has an assistant, so it's not be too much work. It's just mind-boggling. I will be sending these comments in a letter to the board with the FOIA law attached. I've got it. It's much too long to read here, but suffice it to say that the clerk has been flagrantly in violation. And lastly, moving 03 to consent to me is a cowardly way to prevent discussion. And I say I'm standing, I am Jillian Carey.
Hello, everyone. Hello. I won't take up a lot of your time. I guess I just need to say a couple things. The first thing I'd like to do is just read something from the State Tax Commission. I'm not used to working under a board. I've worked under a supervisor. So I apologize for anything that might have taken place that shouldn't have. But township boards need a relationship with their assessor based on open communication. From the moment the assessor is hired, the board should set expectations on how they'll communicate with one another, how often and what information must be reported. Healthy communication might look different for every township, and assessors have a wide variety of preferences. Some assessors provide regular updates at board meetings, while others keep their boards up to speed with monthly emails. Whatever method you choose, the board should stay apprised of the property tax calendar and what the assessor is up to, as well as any legislature changes. And then there's one other thing I'd like to read, because this does have to do with my situation. I sent this letter 2 weeks ago. I really feel like I've been put off. I do work for this township. I am here Monday through Thursday. I'm an open person. Me and Andrea are very open. You all can come talk to us whenever you would like and ask us whatever questions you would like, and we would answer them professionally and honestly. The responsibility doesn't just fall to your township's assessor. The township board is entrusted with final oversight of your township's assessing. That means when assessing isn't up to standards, the board is ultimately responsible. Township officials cannot afford to take a hands-off approach when it comes to property tax assessment. They aren't expected to know how to calculate economic condition factors or land values. Assessing is a complicated, detailed job that requires extensive training and experience that most board members do not have. But every board member should understand assessing enough to answer two basic questions. What is required of our assessing department? And what are those requirements that are being met? The AMAR actually is a review of a local unit. The local unit is taking oversight and responsibility, and assessor is one of the staff members or contractors working on this. But really the oversight falls on the local officials. So I just ask that you come to us and you work with us. We wouldn't even be here and you wouldn't be paying me right now if y'all would have just called a meeting and we all could have talked about this. We could have settled this without it coming to the board like this. We could have all sat together and we could have made this happen. But I ask all of you, what is your license or what is your degree worth to you? I am putting my name on something that I didn't sign up for, and I'm happy to do that because I know our role is good. And I did oversee it because I have taken everything me and Andrea have done home. And I have spent my time looking it over and making sure it is right. So I just ask all of you to please work with us. Don't throw us under the bus because we need you. Thank you.
Good evening, Pat Stein, a longtime resident. I would like to speak tonight on previously known as 03, adopting a code of conduct for Scio Township officials and staff. The codes of conduct listed in this document are what I would consider an expected behavior of any adult holding a position in a business setting. Considering the inappropriate behavior we have witnessed at the board level over the course of this last year, I am all for adopting such a document. Just a few questions. Will this code of conduct be adopted under the rules of order? Would this document be considered suggestions for good conduct or actual rules that must be followed? Who will enforce these rules and how will violations be handled? Moving on, would this board consider adopting codes of conduct for township residents while they present their public comments during township meetings? I ask this question because some of the comments being made to this board have lately really ramped up and crossed the line. A very fine line teetering between freedom of speech and out-and-out harassment. Freedom of speech protects a wide range of speech, including unpopular offensive views or offensive views. Free speech is often public, general, and impersonal, whereas harassment often targets a group or individual repeatedly. Mentioning someone's sexual orientation during a public meeting is not only in poor taste and unprofessional, it can be deemed unlawful harassment, especially since such comments have been made on more than one occasion, and there is intent to repeat the comments, but with a word substitution using the letter L. Other residents have repeatedly targeted board members on a regular basis, criticizing their every move during board meetings, calling out everything as an infraction, one petty criticism after another. I have yet to hear these board members being criticized for not returning their chairs facing forward under the board table at the end of the meetings, but I'm sure that's going to be on the list. Public comments such as these have got to stop. We need to get back to talking about what's important. I know these residents I speak of. There was a time when I cared for them and would do anything for them, and sometimes have. Those feelings are now just disappointment. Calling out these residents on their comments make me a hypocrite when you consider my less than kind comments to our previous supervisor, Will Hathaway, also on a regular basis, but not once did I ever cross the line and bring up sexual orientation. My comments to Hathaway were nasty, as were my 3-letter send-off at his final meeting. I do regret that send-off, not because he didn't deserve it, because it was in very poor taste. That said, I, like other residents, would really like these meetings to get back to a more civil environment for all present. I would like anyone to feel free to contact me with any suggestions on how I can assist in making that happen. Thank you for listening, and thank the rest of you for keeping your applause down when I return to my seat.
Thank you, Pat.
That was a joke. You can laugh.
Thanks, Pat.
Anyone else present? Sorry.
I'm Michelle Cody, and I was here at the last meeting and heard a lot. And I spoke, and I am speaking in regard to the code of conduct for the Scio Township officials and staff, which I printed out. And I think one thing I found is no matter how educated, rich, or cool you think you are, how you treat people says it all. Integrity is everything. And as a former teacher and counselor with my master's and using it constantly as a teacher in 35 years, you have to figure out the questions that you need to ask and listen to what is not being said. The problem about politics is not one game being played. There are several, always. Politics is fundamentally unpredictable because humans are capable of creatively and radically changing the nature of the game as it's played. So I wonder, what is the ideology of the township? It used to be Hathaway or the highway, and now I don't know. Is there controlling access to facilities, the communication, information, public perception? Why are citizens coming out to address this dream team? My husband and I donated and worked for y'all, and we publicized it, and we're thrilled to have y'all. This dream team morphed into a scream team, I guess. The codes of conduct that were presented last meeting by the citizen, one individual in particular, are useful. People pledge to all kinds of causes. Even someone who says, I am your retribution. Really? Is this a retribution team? I don't understand. Residents thought of this board as the reformers, not redistributing duties, access to office space and information, as some have done or sought to do. In the midst of all this cannon fire, people still have to ask the right questions. What kind of country, city, state, township are we, or what do we want? Partisan battles are managed by teachers, I did, in the classroom, corporate managers, any gathering of people. I could go on about that. Recognizing our duties to one another, it's a hard sell in a world where we've been encouraged to think only of our own convenience and interests. Both sides do need a shared vision, so the Dexter City's Code of Conduct, it's a pretty place to start. The shared vision of open and transparent community service uniting both sides while weaning off of overlording. We don't want the new boss to be the same as the old. No closed-door meetings or off-township premises with select people. So as a therapist, counselor, teacher, and I would imagine a new empowerment with guidelines developed by listening to each other and letting the department staff uncritically free from any negative or albeit unspoken threats of retribution. Freedom of speech. That's why unions were formed and necessary and useful. I was a member of one and it came in handy so that you don't have retribution. People hunger for purpose and belonging. There's a lot of good employees here, probably all. They need trust and empowerment in their jurisdiction. There are 4 conditions for listening. And well, one is active listening with no interruptions, no sidelines of smirking, and it's a willingness to see things differently versus I win, you lose. 2, no censorship. And 3, look inward. Is it my ego that's yelling out or look outward? Never thought of it that way. 4, break up any fiefdoms that exist, pre-exist, form now, break up with the past. Transformations don't have to be painful. It could be a breath of fresh air. That's what we citizens did vote for. Forgiveness is a transformational practice. It's not forgetting the wrongs that never happened, not denial, but it's releasing judgment, resentments, power grabs, condemnation. Growth is messy, as Marianne Williamson, among others, has said. So renewal, well, if Dexter's code of conduct gives guidelines, and that to me is common sense courtesies, okay, please live it, don't lip sync it. The community is watching, and empower the employees to work with purpose and belonging.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thanks, Michelle.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, Carol.
Carol Fletcher, Scio Township President. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So my comments basically are in reaction to the last meeting. I was not here for the whole meeting. I was only here for the first couple of hours. But first, thank you to Christy. I was able at home to review the rest of the meeting. So I appreciate a functioning Zoom or YouTube, whichever. Also, sort of a compliment to David. He at least acknowledged that there was some moral conflict of interest involved in this whole discussion. It was kind of a half-hearted acknowledgement, but you did say it and nobody else has. At any rate, basically, I was just disappointed and discouraged with the way the whole thing went. And I got to thinking at home, and to me, it's kind of an analogy, that if you have a serious wound, you go and you get it treated, you get it cleaned out, you get it medicated and dressed. A couple of days later, if you're having drainage through the dressing, you don't put on a clean dressing on top. You go back, even though it's unpleasant, and you get that wound looked at again. And if you need to, you do it again and again. Instead, it strikes me that a lot of these proposed actions and resolutions are simply putting a clean bandage over the festering wound, including the, I believe it's 03, that's on tonight's agenda. I have said it before, I will say it again. Every single member on this board is intelligent, educated, and experienced. You are able to do better, but when you don't do the hard work the hard work of getting down to roots, you know, it just doesn't work. And you lose the confidence of your constituents. And then they come in here angry. And here we go all over again. What's the point, folks? What's the point?
Renee Klubeck, Scio Township resident, former member of the Compensation Committee. That wonderful lady, wise woman, is a hard act to follow. I was sitting home, comfortable, warm, and I said, get your act together, get in, and go see the board again. And I would just want to tell you briefly, when I left here last time, I was angry, I was frustrated, I was ready to come back and do combat. And then I took things to heart and thought about Scio Township. So I'm back here tonight, not to bring up the items that I brought to the last meeting. Those can wait. What I want to say is, each and every one of you is exactly what this wonderful woman just said. I believe there is a chance. Maybe I'm living in La La Land, but I ran a medical practice for over 20 years. Trust me, patients, doctors, lawyers, not easy. Didn't like a lot of them, but I had to work with them. I had to find a way, and I did. And I believe this board has the ability to do that if they can take what is in front of them, take a breath, and say, I'm not always right. Sometimes I am, but I'm not always right. Therefore, let's not make this 8th grade. Let's not have the bully system. I've been down that route with children. I've had to go to an educator and say, you don't like me. I know you don't like me, but guess what? You work for me. You take care and educate my child, so you have a job to do. So if one of you doesn't like me, please be nice and say hello to me. Whether you like what my opinion is or not, I'm a resident. I'm here. I care. I have talked with Ryan one-on-one, and it was wonderful. We didn't agree. We talked. It was pleasant and polite. I've talked with David. I've talked with John. I've talked with Jillian. Christy, you're on the list all the time. You know that. But I'm serious. I've talked with you, Jessica. We have a different memory of a certain incident, and it really runs hard for me. But you know what? I can let that go because I want to see this board work. And it's not working. I'm reading things out there that people are saying, I don't want that for Scio Township. And I believe you could do it if you would just take a breath. And if you think somebody's not doing their job, guess what? Offer to help them figure it out. And if you're not doing your job, for whatever the reason is, and you're afraid to let somebody know you're not doing it, get your act together and just ask nicely. I know this is a difficult situation, but you know what? Our township's going to fall apart. And you guys are going to be a part of it, one way or another, because they're all talking out there. So here's what I'd like to suggest. I, as a resident, and my tall guy back there, husband, we care about this community. We care about you people. Please try. Do you want to be right? Or do you want to be happy and do what's best for Scio? And if you truly believe there's something that needs to happen, find a way to make it happen. I have been told by a board member, trustee, that I'm allowed to talk at any time to legal if I have a problem with something that's gone on in the township. And I'm sure that person that told me that understands who that was. You know what? I don't know if that's really true or not. But I'm so afraid with this group to ask anybody that a second time, that so I go on and I don't get a clear answer. That's what's going on in here. I'm just saying, please, if anybody wants to talk to the Klubecks,
raise your hand, tell us to stay, meet us sometime, sit down, and don't think that anybody on this panel is above not having ever made a bad decision, raised their voice, said a naughty word, or anything else. It happens. It's business. But you gotta get it done. You gotta get the job done. So I'm asking you, please. I didn't come back here with all my info to point fingers and do it. I don't want that. But I don't want you guys doing it either. I want to see something better. And I'm willing to do anything you want. Anything. I will help as a resident. And I mean that. And I said that when Ryan and I spoke a little more than 2 weeks ago. I said, I want to see this work. Please. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Renee.
Dave Spicer, South Township resident. I wasn't going to speak, but this lady here is amazing. What she said echoes with the same thing I would say. Very, very educated lady, and thank you so much. You did a great, great presentation.
As a sixth grade teacher.
That's about
And a lot of it. That's a lot of. Very.
Anyone else present would like to speak? Okay, Christy, let's move.
Okay, thank you. First up is Kanda Fletcher, followed by Rob Pattinson. Go ahead, Kanda.
Hi, everybody. I just had a couple of comments that I wanted to make. The last board meeting was not pretty, but I wanted to comment on the proposed code of conduct. I see that as designed to be exclusionary and punitive as it's currently written. I agree with Pat Stein that who's going to keep track of this, who's going to be the one handing out punishment. If this code is enacted as it stands, I don't see how it would be enforced fairly the way that things stand right now. It comes across as pejorative and contains it would continue a hostile work environment where people will feel hunted and constantly having to watch their back. I don't see very much positive coming from something like the code of conduct, as I don't see it being applied evenly or fairly to anyone. I fear for anyone who finds themselves in the crosshairs of the proposed code of conduct if it's approved by the board. I want to encourage everyone to think about hiring the company that I believe the resident Ian spoke about more than once to come in and see if they can help get people, the board, the staff to a workable, positive place so that our township governance is functioning the way that it should be. At one time, I feel like it was not the mess that I see it is now. As far as the FOIA requests go, whoever's supposed to be doing that, if they don't have the time or the knowledge, and we point somebody who can take care of that, I can't see wasting taxpayer dollars if someone puts in a FOIA request and it's not responded to timely, and there are legal remedies that allow somebody to go after the township. That seems to me to be an incredible waste of money. So that's all that I want to say, and I hope that we can get ourselves to a better place where these meetings and feelings are not so contentious. Everyone makes mistakes. Every single one of us makes mistakes. If we keep doing the same thing over and over, that's a problem. But as so many people have said tonight, if you need help, ask for it. And let's figure out how to get to a better place as a group. Thank you.
Next up is Rob Pattinson, followed by Caroline Altamore.
No? Oh, it must be somebody else. Okay.
It's okay, that's who I know, I was like, isn't she here? Okay, sorry, go ahead, Rob. We're done chattering here now, go ahead.
Thank you. Rob Pattinson, Scio Township resident. Ryan, at the last board meeting, you claimed that that Jillian is the one creating the hostile work environment in your resolution. What the last board meeting demonstrated to residents was that it was the board creating that environment. There was no yelling and screaming during the board meeting, but there was a lot of damage done. It didn't take yelling and screaming to bring Andrea to tears. I submit that any board that does that to employees, what you did last time, is the source of a hostile work environment. You also made it clear why employees don't trust this board, because no one who works here is safe. John, you mentioned employees getting written up at the last meeting. Since you have become the most moderate board member, I ask you to look at the HR records and report to us how many write-ups there have been in the last year. What were the topics of those write-ups, and how many people have been written up multiple times? Then do the same thing for the previous years and the previous 5 years. And remember, Aurora reports to the board, not Jessica. So as Caroline pointed out, you have the authority to see those records. 8 people left in 2025. John, please search for their exit interviews and report what those exit interviews say. Then also call the 8 people and ask them why they left and report that too, please. No names need to be released, just the reasons. Something happened with the 2 township closings in the last few days. The county closed on Friday, so the township did too. Then on Monday, both the county and the state were closed, so the township was closed again. Jessica, you made people come in yesterday, Monday, while the township was closed. Did you really make Treasury and Finance essential? There are a lot of people who work for us who live more than half an hour away, and several who live over an hour away, and that's on a good day. The fire department is essential. On-call response to utility issues is essential. Everything else is not. So what was the difference between Friday and Monday? Jessica, did you make people come in yesterday because you disagreed with Jillian? Was that the basis? What is the basis that gives you the authority to unilaterally make that decision? This board needs to make a policy and procedure to address essential services. Leaving the decision to Jessica alone is not good enough. Kathleen, at the beginning of the last board meeting, someone who would know told me you are considering going to law enforcement about my public comments. I will not reveal their name. I'm happy to discuss any of your concerns about my public comments at any time. I think it will be important for Lieutenant Kratzenberg to be there since he has personally witnessed the board discussions and my comments. I invite you to meet with me and the lieutenant when you're ready. I have 2 requirements for our meeting. Lieutenant Kratzenberg will be there and it will be on the record. I will publish the contents of the meeting so the community is aware of your concerns and my response. You're going to have a hard time claiming my comments are a hate crime or misogynistic or homophobic, since I spent 4 years speaking up for, defending, and supporting Jessica while the people in power were trying to impede her job and make her miserable enough to quit. Now the shoe is on the other foot, and I won't stand by and stay silent while she uses her power to do the same thing to others. And members of this board enable her. Just because the previous administration was so good at dirty tricks, does that mean the new administration should use them too? I think it's clear to the community my comments are intended to help our local government improve. Yes, they are intense and direct. And yes, we have intense dysfunction within Township Hall. Thank you to Becky and Andrea for repairing and spending the last several years cleaning up the mess left by the previous assessor. Our assessing department has come a long way, and they are significantly responsible for the cleanup of that mess, and I thank them both for their efforts. And thank you, Andrea, for not quitting 2 weeks ago. I think that was the intention of this board, and staying strong was exactly what we residents needed, and I thank you for it. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Next up is the name Caroline Altamar, and then followed by Jonathan Greenberg. Okay. Good. Caroline, Mark? Mark, is it Mark? Is that you?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna lower your hand and move on. If you want to speak, go ahead and raise your hand again. Next up, Jonathan Greenberg. Go ahead, Jonathan. Jonathan, your hand is up. Did you want to speak? All righty. I'll lower the hands.
Maybe there's something wrong because, yeah, Mark is saying like he was here, but.
Okay, I don't see any hands raised once I lowered those two, and
I'm telling him to raise his hand again.
oh, Jonathan Greenberg, do you want to speak? Sorry.
Yeah, I did. You didn't
Sorry
unmute
about
me the
that.
first time, so there was no way I could speak.
Sorry, Jonathan.
That's okay. Short comment here. Just wanted to let you know that during the week I was contacted by staff, and they were very encouraged by the discussion last week because they thought that after maybe John's comments and some others, that they'd be able to speak anonymously with a third party because they really do want to tell their stories. They did confirm that Scio Township Hall has an extremely toxic work environment. And I think if that's the case, we owe it to them to get to the bottom of it. Let our employees speak to somebody, a third party, let them tell their stories, and then let's find out what the real truth is. To do less than that would be to ignore the real problem, to paper it over and to move on. That's all. Let them have their say.
Okay, go ahead, Mark. Sorry about that. That was my fault.
Okay, I'm unmuted, I hope?
Yeah, sorry, that was my fault.
Thank you.
Forgot to unmute.
Oh, and you know what? I'm gonna hit my timer because last time I think I went a little long, so I will watch that this time. You heard me in the last public comments talking a lot about due process and hearsay. This was in regard to the accusations of mistreatment and barring the supervisor from her office, et cetera, et cetera. I heard in that meeting, one of the trustees say, we don't have access to exit interviews, but I assure you that they're being done. And I think I heard my lovely bride just say tonight, or read in the statute that, yes, the Board of Trustees does have access to exit interviews. So I would like to make a request for an action item, and I would like to hear you all discuss it in the response to public comment, if you wouldn't mind. That the person in charge of HR director or manager, I'm not sure the title, go ahead and make a list of all of the staff members who have left Scio Township's employee in the last 12 months. Just make a list of their names and dates that they left, and then indicate whether documented exit interview has been done, yes or no. And if there has been a documented exit interview, attach that to the list, and then distribute that to each of the trustees. So all the trustees will have in their hands the list of the names and the dates people have left and the reasons that they discussed in exit interviews of why they left. And I think that should be done before there's any more discussion on this topic or any more action taken against the supervisor. If there's going to be due process and we're going to eliminate hearsay evidence. I think that's the least that could be done. I would like to hear public comment or your discussion of whether this could be done or not. And then lastly, I think that list could be published to members of the audience, the public. Redact the names, but just put employee A and the date and whether or not an exit interview was documented. And if it's not, just say not available. And if it was, say yes, it was documented. And so that the rest of us can see just exactly what's going on inside HR. We don't have to have confidential information shared with us, but we can see that when a trustee says they do not have or they do have access to certain information and whether it exists or not, that the public will have some sort of confidence that information is correct. So I would really like to hear why that is or is not possible in your response. And if it is possible, I would really like to see some sort of follow-up because I feel all too often when the public comments, things get said and and there's a response, and then it's gone. It never gets taken up again. And I just think that this is an important issue, not just for the issue at hand with the office space, but in general and going forward, if we're going to have a good place to work and confidence in our leaders, then we need to have that information, and we need to know it's being collected and utilized appropriately. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you. There are no other hands raised this time.
Okay. Board member response. This is the time for board members or their designees to follow up concerning public comments. Shall we begin at one end? Trustee Brandt, would you like to begin? Do you have anything to say?
Yeah, people are quoting me about the legalities of exit interviews. I'm not going to talk about those legalities without consulting from our legal counsel. I don't think we should make comments that potentially are not accurate. So I would wait for that advice.
Sure, a couple things. I think it was Caroline mentioned the agenda, trouble with the posting of the agenda. Yeah. I just double checked. It appears to be up when I check on my phone, but if there's still problems, can you let me know?
She's talking about things that were added at the table.
Oh, okay.
All the Ks at the end.
And if
Okay,
you
11,
guys
12,
add
13,
on.
14.
Right.
Okay.
Just read them
So-
when you talk about them.
Typically what we've done, but I'll defer to Christy on practice. Typically, if something's handed out at the table, there's usually a copy put in the binder there. We can continue doing that.
I did,
Yeah.
sometimes we don't get it done until, Aurora didn't finish hers till the last minute.
Yeah. I can
She was
distribute my copies at minimum now.
Yeah, I can do that too.
Okay, great. I know that's a small point, but practical. Regarding Becky's comments, I just had a question about to the board. Not that we're going to answer it, but her, direction to come talk is to staff is different than how we, have handled chain of command before. So I just want to acknowledge that difficulty. I think everybody's tried to be very respectful of our operating, so it's just sort of a conundrum for me because so that's something we need to resolve. I would say on Rob, it's just odd to me. It's okay. It's odd to me, but that yesterday I get a FOIA request from Marcia about who's essential workers, and then a public comment from Rob, and it's set forth in our handbook, winter closure. I didn't disagree with the supervisor's decision, not that that matters, it's the supervisor's decision to close the office on 2 days. We have staff out for personal reasons that I'm not going to discuss. We've been short-staffed. The payment of the bills is something, I worked all weekend on to make sure we get $600,000 of payments done. Payroll is something that needed to be done Friday and worked on Monday. Ryan came in because he wanted to receipt. That's his prerogative to come in. He could direct anybody under his purview to come in. Jillian could as well, and Christy could as well. When I came in yesterday, Fran was there because Fran's amazing. She lives nearby, and she always comes in to make sure that the postings are done when we're closed. So she came in for a couple hours. I don't know if you asked her if she just did it on her own.
She did it on her own.
Yeah, she does it on her own. We all worked through COVID together. We know how to keep things going, even when the weather's bad or there's a pandemic. So in terms of, Aurora came in, because I think Aurora must have had stuff to do. Christy must have had stuff to do. Everybody's grown-ups and comes in when they need to.
I had to approve,
What'd you have to do?
I approved
Since people are so
invoices in
interested.
BSNA,
Okay.
so you could finish.
The payment of the bills. So, generally, it's, Brandon had Jeff in here. Jeff was in here, what, I don't know what time you
Early
come in.
morning. Brandon called me Sunday. We communicate a lot with each other, so.
Yeah, so everybody under Christie's command, you know, Brandon had Jeff, and I saw Mike in here at some point. I mean, I'm just, you know,
Matt
these
was
are
here
just,
I think he
Matt,
was changing work orders.
Matt was
Yeah.
here.
Mhm.
So every person responsible is responsible for making sure if we're going to hit a legal deadline, some money needs to be collected, people need to be paid, just the essential stuff. So, you know, with 2 days closed and other people off for their birthdays before or off for, you know, personal medical things that are going on, like it's just life. We're just keeping things moving. So I don't know that there's it's up to each person. I don't know, Ryan, what you want to say about why did you come in to collect money? That sounds pretty essential to me, but it sounds like there's a question about that.
I can wait till you're.
Yeah, I'm done.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, I just wanted to say, because everybody knows I was absent from the last meeting because I had the flu. And I did come in 2 days last week. We had Monday was MLK Day. Tuesday, my furnace crapped out. I had to fix that, which I did. And then I came in on Wednesday and Thursday. And I have to say that, you know, I was out for a couple weeks, and when I came in, staff was so happy to see me. Every single one of them came up to me. I hardly got any work done that day, but that was okay. It was just very wonderful, and they were very supportive. And also, I did go into the assessing department to check in on them. And Andrea had a lovely, I don't know, it's not a bouquet, it's a plant, but it was yellow roses. And I asked her who gave that to her, and she said Paula Globerson. And there was a nice little note in support of her and everything that she's been doing and what she went through in this last board meeting. So I thank you, Paula, for that. That really just brightened Andrea's day. So, yeah, and the chain of command, we have staff that we all talk with our staff, all staff, because we have agenda items that we have to do. We have other things that have to be done, and we can't do it if we're walled off from staff and not being able to talk to them. And if we have staff that are saying, please ask us questions about our job, don't make assumptions, please come and talk with us, then please do that. I don't think there was one board member that reached out to Becky to try, well, and I don't know for sure, but maybe you did, but she, at the time, when I was working with her on her request, that not one board member had reached out to her to get her take on things. So, and then it comes in front of the board and the public, and then we pull it apart, and yeah. So this chain of command, and then there was an email that went out that something about last week and staff and something happened somewhere to somebody or something like that, and I was like, there was no other information, but it had to do with chain of commands, which is, again, confusing. But I just wanted to clear this up that, you know, I do my best, and I go into the office and I treat people with respect. And the staff talk with me because they need to vent. I don't tell them what to do. I don't close the door and tell them what to do. They're just there to, well, to ask me what's going on with myself personally, and also, you know, whatever it is that there's an agenda item or whatnot. But, you know, these accusations that I am sitting there yelling and screaming and being a tyrant to staff, and then I'm instructing them on what to do, it's just false. And I wanted to clear that up. Okay, also, regarding the closures, I follow the county, and we also EMU, and all the schools were closed. There was Lansing and Flint, all of this came in. And I did read the employee handbook, and I would like to have clarity on what is essential, as far as essential staff, and what isn't, so everybody knows. And then also, it does state in the handbook that if there's exempt and not exempt, they are paid differently for those days that we are closed and when they come in. So I want to make sure that everybody is clear on that. So if we could have some type of like Excel file or something that will say this person is exempt and an essential worker. This person is non-exempt and a non-essential.
everybody's essential. I mean, you know, on a personal level, but I'm saying as far as our criteria, and then everybody's on the same page. Anyways, I think that's it. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Ryan?
Thank you. So first off, about yesterday and Friday, I ended up in a meeting with Clerk Flintoff Friday morning. We also were present here at the office yesterday, in addition to a number of other people, Jeff, Christie, Mike, Matt, Fran, Aurora, Mariah, myself, Barb, Belisha, the Assistant Chief, and Fire Chief. And I may even be missing one or two people. Certainly understand, you know, it wasn't mandatory for everyone to be here, and you know, I appreciate everybody coming to work and everybody that was able to get things done that we need to get done. We needed to pay our bills. There's a number of invoices that we had to scan in, and we had to enter into the system either for purchase orders or for accounts payable in order to get everything set so we can pay our vendors, you know. I also had a number of, actually it took 3 or 4 payments from people that came up to the door yesterday, even though our front door wasn't unlocked. People were looking in because the lights were on and wanted to pay their taxes. So I was here, I happily did that for them. I'm trying to get things done to make sure that people, as soon as they drop off their payment, it's out of their account and into our account as soon as humanly possible. Reduces phone calls back to us, and it reduces people's anxiety or questions about what's going on with their payment. There was also emails that went out over the weekend, especially because we had the unprecedented situation, which the supervisor is absolutely correct. It's her control and her choice to close the office in event of severe weather. But being closed on both Friday and Monday put us in a unique situation that we had a number of department heads that had to approve invoices or purchase orders. And if we don't have them approved, we can't run checks for them. So it's definitely a very difficult situation. I believe it was Michelle, just so I correct it, it was the City of Chelsea's Code of Conduct, not the City of Dexter's, if I understood you correctly. I copied it as it was, directly from the City of Chelsea's city charter, which is why I gave them the credit there. Certainly, you know, understand and appreciate the perspective, but I just want to make sure I shared what it was from. As far as the exit interview question, I'll speak with our legal counsel about that and our HR manager. I don't know if we can do it anonymized. I don't know if we can do it at all, but if it's certainly something that's possible, at least to do at a high level, that will be something I try and work on and bring back to a future meeting. Thanks.
Trustee Rice, would you have anything?
I should. Once upon a time, when you had a snow day, it was a great experience. We can't even get that right. We think there should be cartwheels in the snow and snow angels to like factions on snow days. Maybe we need to revisit our no work from home, or like so that we can allow some remote work in case of inclement weather. I know we don't allow work from home generally, but maybe now's the time to take a second look at how we should do that. That's what I'll say that. And with respect to some of the comments that we get from members of the audience, they have audience, they're here in the audience or they're in the audience. I don't think it's pejorative to say audience versus public. Residents, public, audience. But whomever it is that exercises their free speech, whether in the public, the audience, or online, or wherever. But whomever it is that expresses that opinion, and I have been the subject of nasty things, and some of it's probably deserved, some of it's not, but that goes with the territory. So we have to just sit there and take it. But I will say, it makes our jobs harder when this negativity comes to us. And I'm not trying to curtail that. I don't know what the answer is, that maybe if you're having an issue with a particular board member, you try to reach out, you try to break bread, you try to have coffee, you try to talk it through. Mm-hmm. I've had I've not always seen eye to eye with some of you folks, and you haven't with me either. But I guess what I would say, exercise your right to free speech, give us the Dickens, but also try to improve the relationship. Because good relationships that are positive between us seven and positive relations that are with you make the job easier, make coming to these meetings easier. I think we get more done in when there is as much positivity as there can be. And that's it. I yield the floor.
Okay, I want to respond to a couple things that were said. I think my prior comments started with, I'm noticing that the language of contempt has become normalized in our speech. And that was a reflective comment because of noticing what's going on with news stories, what's going on in society. And then I said, I even noticed some of these words spoken here tonight that expressed a lot of vitriol. And I said despicable, cruel. I mean, those were words that were spoken at the meeting by some of you. I also commented that I'm noting a lot of misstatements of facts. And I don't understand where you're coming up with some of the conclusions that you're coming up with. Now, maybe it's worth me trying to talk to people one-on-one. In general, I have not, because I felt like many of you just want to state your opinions, and that's okay. I accept that. I do. And Pam, I'm not bothered by what I've heard. I mean, I listened to your commentary, and it's not that I'm bothered, but I feel like it's counterproductive. The very thing you say we should be doing, you also play a role in, and it's counterproductive to the positive functioning of this board. So, I mean, I have tried to talk with each board member, work out issues with each board member, and foster ongoing relationships. I would say I have been successful with 5, but Jillian and I did talk this week, very briefly, about issues, and it was a productive conversation. So, you know, I think this board is trying to do the best that they can, and I'm not saying we aren't responsible for some of it, because I think we are. But it's hard to constantly come, and as John is saying, to these meetings and hear the negative commentary from many of the board members that, in my opinion, are misstatements of fact, but know that that's what you guys need to say, so I accept that. And I'm still trying to work with you and work things through with other board members here, all other board members. Thanks.
Thank you, John, for broaching the subject about working from home. Over the weekend, or I guess it was yesterday or today, I read written comments from both Rob Pattinson and John Greenberg regarding the lack of work from home, or the fact that we don't have the policy for work from home. In fact, I checked the employee manual, and there's no mention of work from home at all. Now, I don't recall, maybe this was done before I was on the board, but I don't ever remember the board voting on forbidding work from home. So maybe it happened before I was on the board. But regardless, I've reached out to a couple of our neighboring townships to see what they do work from home. I've started actually writing a work from home policy that, of course, I'll run by Aurora and Mariah. But I'd like to bring it to the board to see what the board thinks about reinstituting work from home policy. Quite frankly, I work from home all the time. I probably put in 20, 30 hours a week working from home. I know probably all of us work from home on the board. We all work from home. So I can't see how, with the appropriate permissions, with the appropriate technology, I would say at least 50, maybe 70% of the work that's done here in the building could be done from home. And so on a day like last Friday, we could have just said, okay, everybody work from home today. But not a big deal. You don't have to close the office, just say work from home. So anyway, I'm going to be working on that, and if the board decides to take it up and vote on it, so be it. If they deny it, so be it. But I think we're wrong, and this is 2026, not 1926. So I think we should take advantage of the technology that exists. And I mean, my son manages 7 people in his company, 2 of which are in China, one's in Bulgaria, I think, and 1 in Russia. He's working from home, as they are. So this is the 21st century, and I think we need to wake up and do something about it. Thank you.
Yes, please.
I just want to briefly clarify my comment. I commented on Marcia and Rob's interest. It's not at all strange. The interest, the FOIA, the comments are all good. What I wanted to say was, Christy sends out an email on Friday. It sounds to me that is what you're responding to. I don't know how you know about that email. I'm assuming it's because Jillian had some concerns about the email Christy sent. She never expressed them to me, never expressed them to Christy, this whole essential worker thing. So I hear about it for the first time from Rob and Marcia, right? Whereas I would just say, like, Jillian, if you have a question about what I'm doing on Monday, ask me, or...
I have not shared anything
Okay.
with the public.
Okay,
At all.
so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know then where it's coming from. But I will say, I mean, and Christy, I'll put you on the spot, but had you heard any questions about your email before the public comment?
Jillian came and asked me what essential workers were the other day.
Was it last Friday?
Whatever day, I don't know, you asked me, we were standing there in utilities, and you asked me.
Because you came, Thursday.
Because I sent
your
the
daughter-
email on Thursday, and then you came and asked me why
I called you on Friday, or, no, I called
No,
you Thursday morning.
you were in the building. We had this conversation in the building.
Right, but I
Really?
called you, you called me.
Yeah.
And I called you back, and then we had a further conversation. You're right, yes. But anyways, yeah, did we have a conversation about essential workers?
It was in the building, it was at the counter, utility counter.
Yes, you're right. Oh, that's right, because, there was.
Neither here nor there,
Yes,
but
yes.
we did.
But we talked about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we did.
Good. It seems like 10 years ago.
It
but-
does.
Anyway, okay, everybody, have we finished with board response? Could we move on to approval of minutes, possible action approval of minutes of the January 13, 2026 regular meeting?
And I would move the approval of the January 13, 2026 Scio Township Board of Trustees minutes.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved, 7-0. On to consent agenda.
Move the consent agenda.
Support.
Sorry, that was Kathy, no.
Motion by Reed, support by Noel. Okay, all in favor of the consent agenda as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Consent agenda as amended is adopted. On to regular reports. I guess, I don't have a page, I already said what I needed to say, I guess. Treasurer Yeaple?
Sure. We're at about 62% collected for the tax roll for winter. That was as of earlier today. So still looking forward to people coming in and paying their taxes. They are due on Tuesday, the 17th this year because of the Monday President's Day holiday and February 14th being on a Saturday. So everybody remember that for Valentine's Day. Greatly appreciate all the staff that did come in and work yesterday and some of them on Friday. Especially Jeff, who is our grounds person, who came in and cleaned all the snow off at very, very early hours of the morning. It's awesome. Yeah, I will have, I'll just hit multimodal real quick. We will probably have a board item either at the next meeting or the following meeting, at least for part of our recommendation from that group. So I will look forward to bringing that soon. The multimodal transit. Yep. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Clerk Flintoff?
Can you come back to me?
Sure. I do want to note that there is some reports that are included, planning, and I think it's 2 planning reports. Okay. Christie, Office Coordinator, do you have anything?
I just want to remind the public and the board that the February meetings for planning and Board of Trustees will be over in room Vogel A at WISD on Wagner Road. We have things posted here and on the website. Hard stop at 10 o'clock on those meetings, so let's be mindful of that. And we will have Zoom off a laptop, so it's not going to look as pretty as what the public is used to seeing, and we will not have the live stream available at that location. But we will be there, and public is welcome to come in person as well. And if you have any questions, email me or give me a call, and we can work through it if you've got questions or concerns. That's it. Yeah.
Just to clarify, the whole month of February will be at WIC except for LASA, which will be at Webster.
Correct, yes, thank you for the correction. Thanks, Jillian. Yes, LASA will be at Webster. Thank you. And the smaller committees will be here in the building in a different room because they're smaller and we don't need as much space. But again, if anybody has any questions about what meeting is where, give me a call. Look on the website, but give me a call. It'll just be faster and easier. Or email me, whatever your preference.
Okay, departments and committees. Trustee Grant, do you have anything to include for?
Yes, I do have comments. I was off last week on vacation, but I was totally tuned into the national news. I've said it before, I'm a progressive Democrat, always have been. I'm so disturbed by what's going on in our nation by our federal government, murdering citizens. It's so scary. I hope you all protest and protest widely and often. And I'm going to get accused of lecturing, and I don't care. Anybody that voted for Trump, you have blood on your hands. You absolutely do. And anybody who thinks that they have Second Amendment rights with this administration, you're fooling yourself. It was just proven. Even with legal gun carry, you will be murdered. So call me, you can say whatever you like about my lecturing. This is how I feel.
Yeah, I want to thank the board for their vote to hire the finance manager and Aurora and Nikki for their work. I want to thank everybody for jumping in and cross-training on all the functions as we've done, and we're creating better procedural documentation on all things. I also want to thank the board for your flexibility to hear next week. I believe Christy has on the agenda the consideration of township properties, which is a conversation I don't think we've ever had, which is good to have for planning, along with the several township properties we have, like what should we do with them? And then also along with the CIP. I appreciate that everybody I know is committed to doing better. I know that the referral that Ian handed me, I know that Aurora has reached out. I believe Mariah's looking into some resources, and I know that everybody will be on board with whatever resources make sense. I do want to say one thing regarding the last meeting, and I concur, of course, with the no retaliation policy, no hostile workplace. I do want to take the opportunity to comment publicly, though, on some remarks made at the last board meeting on January 13th. One of us made specific derogatory remarks about the integrity of two of our senior staff members, our office coordinator and human resources manager. They were untrue. They were wrong, and I just want to state how deeply troubled I am that the remarks would be made at all, especially at a public meeting and on the public record. I know that does not represent the township, and certainly not how we should be and strive to be. So on behalf of the township, I want to extend my apologies to both of them for the evolving impact, many impacts of those remarks. Thank you.
Trustee Knoll?
Okay, I had two brief items. I watched the City of Dexter council meeting last night, and Dexter would like to resume communication and meet with Scio Township representatives fairly soon. They have not taken action yet on approving the draft development agreement between Baker Land Holdings and the City of Dexter. But they're almost there. And once they approve it, it will be an automatic next step that they're going to apply for the annexation. Now, that step will be to file an application with the State Boundary Commission. So if we want to have any input in it and have discussion with them, it's still at a formative phase, but I think it's coming very soon, and I think we should do it because it's better to have input at this point, potentially. I don't know where we all are on the issue, and we need to talk. We need to have a meeting to discuss the annexation issue, the concerns with this high-capacity well that will potentially impact Scio wells in a 6-mile radius. And it's all pretty major. So at some point, we need to meet with Dexter, and we need to talk amongst ourselves at a board meeting and decide what we want to do. Okay, also on the Dexter issue, I was informed yesterday from Sean Scio that Dexter Community Schools want to build a field house on Parker Road, south of the high school and east of Parker Road. Scio, this is on property owned by Scio Township. Scio and Dexter have a 425 agreement regarding this parcel. And this agreement will need to be amended so that another property can be added. I've sent the information to Mariah, Laura, Christy. They all have copies of the 425 agreement and the map. But this is an issue we all need to be aware of, and we're going to have to deal with that too. Dexter will provide the water and sewer. So that it's very close to the Dexter High School, and Dexter provides the water and sewer for the high school. That's it. Thank you.
Christine,
Yes.
where is that again? On Parker and what?
Parker Road, south of the high school.
On Shield?
It's close to Shield.
I believe it's 8100 Shield Road, because they also paid property taxes for that parcel, which I found it odd when I got the bill, and it was a check from Dexter Schools paying taxes on a house.
I don't have all my notes from these discussions with Dexter with me here.
Sliver of our, yeah.
Yeah, right there.
I've dropped lid in there. Yep.
Oh, that's
It was
by,
really weird.
Bates,
Yep.
Bates Farm?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Last three digits of their tax ID, 001.
Yep.
That's it. H0808300001.
Yep.
That's the parcel.
So it's the other way, away from Shield Road.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
behind the new twin turfs at the high school.
Mhm.
So it's probably adjacent to the high school.
Okay.
Are you looking?
No, I'm not. I don't have my map here.
Brian has a full up.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's just more colorful.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question in response?
Yeah.
If we're going to be opposing the annexation, has there been any discussion about considering going to a charter township or asking our attorneys for an opinion on what protection being a charter township would give us? Is that part of what we should look at in this discussion? This isn't a motion to go to a charter township. This might be the general inquiry as the impact that becoming a charter might have if we're going to oppose this down the road. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not asking for a legal opinion in a public forum, and I'm not putting you on the spot at all. This is just a rhetorical, what if, should, that's all.
I think it's a valid question. I would agree.
It's not too late?
It may be too late,
Yeah.
but it's still a valid question, and there could be other properties coming, because they have identified some other properties in Scio Township that they might be interested in. We need to talk about that, too.
It does give some, being a charter township does give some protection from annexation, but it's not a complete prohibition on annexation.
Trustee Reed, do you have anything?
Yes, we actually did have a Parks meeting, but I'm remiss in not getting my notes to you. I'll get them as soon as I can. But Jessica, can you repeat, you said something about we need at the work session, we need to talk about township property. Can you repeat what you said? I missed some of it.
So this was in the draft CIP that was presented on December 9th.
Oh,
And
okay.
as we flagged, it was a list, appreciated Andrea put together the list of township properties. We have properties that we are not putting to the best possible use. So maybe we should do that. Maybe we should sell them, get them back on the tax roll. There's various small properties, and so it's a chance to talk about it. And so Christy has asked Laura and Andrea to pull together some information so that we can have a work session and kind of determine, if there are some that we want to sell, if there are some that we want to put to greater public use, if there are some that should be preserved, whatever it is.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, that was asked of myself and Andrea, and we had already gone through that with Laura. But I do have something to say. We just sat here, I thought we were getting to, listening to everybody, getting to a point of, wow, we're actually going to start working together. And, this potential, I don't know what Ian had presented because I wasn't here, but I was watching by Zoom. And I had my public comments. But, I take offense to being accused of treating certain employees a certain way when you weren't there, and neither was Ryan. And also, the way that Andrea was treated, it was disgusting. It was almost a 2-hour conversation of just, we had our agenda item for her, which the township attorney and I had created together. We had 4 attachments that the township attorney had decided to upload, and then all of a sudden there was 8 all of a sudden with private information that was not redacted. And then we had an email exchange, Clerk Flintoff, and then you took that and you interrogated Andrea. Yes, it was terrible, terrible. And this is exactly why she wanted to bring it quietly. And we even had a meeting with you, Ryan, and Andrea and Becky, and they said, we just don't want to be dragged through the public and on and on and on. And you said, oh, we would never do that. Everybody makes mistakes. And that's exactly what you did. It was awful. And I'm glad that she didn't quit. But I'm sorry, but you took an agenda item and you added more and more onto it, and you just ran her through the ringer. So you know what? I am sick and tired of being accused of everything. And then you sit there and just do what you do to the staff. And I know this for a fact because you interrogate me in attorney meetings or admin meetings or whatever you want to call them. You have accused me. You've called me names. You've called me incompetent, dysfunctional, nasty. You have accused me of sharing
Is
clothes.
this appropriate to be talking about?
I am
right
speaking,
now?
and
Oh, you are.
yes, I am.
You are. I think this.
And you please be quiet. Public comments is over.
Lay this to rest.
Motion for a 5-minute recess?
Get sick of
Call to
it.
order.
Motion for a 5-minute recess?
Support? Call the question for a recess?
Yep.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No.
Okay, 5-minute recess,
7:53.
7:53.
Remember, we go till 8 tonight, right? What is it, 8? What's our meeting? 3 hours? 3 hours?
We said do 5.
We have one thing left to do. No, we don't. You live in the bar, the liquor license for you?
Yeah, Hyper Richard.
Oh, Hyper Richard, really quick. It's gonna be really quick. That's gonna be quick. Thank you, John. I am extending the meeting by 5. All right.
Nothing.
Good, I had to go to the bathroom. Yes.
Right.
Let me know what I can do. I mean, I don't know, but I certainly appreciate your perspective.
Hey, David. David, a little bit of background.
Jessica, no, I don't understand what she said. So. Thank you.
Renee, how are you?
The year's
Is that a
not.
separate scarf?
What?
That-
Yeah, separate.
Is that real fur,
These
I
are
hope?
my mom's.
That's real fur?
This came, when it
Can
comes
I-
in,
can
you
I-
wear
can I-
your
can I-
mom's
can I see
stuff.
it?
Yeah.
Is it like
So-
lapis lazuli?
Yeah, so like this says that this is like from 1950s.
Oh, did she pass or something?
No, it's been a while. I'm about to go into litigation.
What county?
Yeah. I
Do you
forget,
have a
I'll have
de-
to, yes.
Are you working with a detective?
Yes.
Okay.
Huge one. First name Larry.
Good.
We own
Can I use my hand?
Road, we own like
So it is. That's what I said. Meeting and stuff that you need to get done.
Yeah, because we separate sessions.
I am Laura Morris.
November and December, separate sessions. Yeah, I don't think we have a template set up for it.
Just say work sessions.
Yeah, I don't think we have a template set up for work sessions.
No, but somebody should.
No, I think they're talking about township property.
I tried. Good time.
Thank you. Let's bring this meeting back to order, please, at 7:56. Okay, let's move on to N1. Possible action liquor licenses, DKY, Sushi and Hometown Pizza / Under Par Ann Arbor. Did I say that right? Okay, and I have recused myself from this topic, so Clerk Flintoff, could you take it over, please? Sure.
Okay, thank you very much. I know we have applicants here, and also, Christy, do we have Laura Krebs here?
She's online, I think. Yes, I
Okay.
promoted her to panel.
So this item is postponed. I would ask, do any board members have any questions for Laura before we start deliberation?
No.
Okay. Would board members like to just start the conversation and then ask applicants as we have questions? Okay,
Oh, well, I don't mind going first, middle, or last.
go for it, John.
As I see it, this is a quota license, and is the only quota license that's available in the Scio Township market for a Class C, which is the on-site consumption of beer, alcohol, and wine. Liquor. Is that correct?
Spirits, Class C includes spirits. Sorry for interrupting.
Includes what, I'm sorry?
Spirits.
Yeah, liquor, I meant, like alcohol, liquor, right. And so, do we give it to one of these two businesses? Or is it something, since we only have one and don't have the ability to issue a DDA liquor license anymore, do we save it for something like another, or like a hotel, or another Carlisle Grill, or a Sam Hill, or something that will serve more people than these two relatively small businesses? So I'm okay if either one of these gets it. I've eaten at the sushi place and I like it there. They're a well-established business, and that's grounds for their supporting them to get it. The other people might have, it's on Jackson Road, and they're gonna have pizza, and maybe they'll have more customers, and that's grounds for them. None of them are gonna serve alcohol, spirits, as far as I know, liquor, but they're all gonna be beer, wine, kind of like a tavern situation. So my slight preference, notwithstanding their presence in this hall, would be to hang on to it for something that comes down the pike, since we only have one. However, I can appreciate how that's not a good idea to hang on to something when these folks here are willing to monetize it and use it now. So that's, I don't have my mind made up one way or the other. Either party A, party B, or hang on to it for something that gets a more broader use in the township. And then I'll yield back.
Could I share my perspective and then go to you, Kathy?
Okay.
I wanted to say I support granting the liquor license to DKY Sushi. And the reason is I appreciate that there may be an unknown value of holding on to the license for something unknown, but it would more than likely be not monetizing it, as you said. I think we should monetize it. I think that also it very likely could be an out-of-town corporate restaurant who might come in. DKY, residents of Scio, business of Scio. How often do we have somebody who is both a Scio resident and a Scio business who has been successfully operating just down the road? And if there's any little thing we can do to help our local business, I want to help them. So for that reason, I think Hometown Pizza under par looks fun, but they are new. DKY has proven their business model by being a successful restaurant. So that's my perspective. Kathy?
Okay. I expressed my opinion at the last meeting when we discussed this. Both Hometown Pizza and DKY Sushi have been around for a while. That's the under part that's new, as I understand it. Both are existing businesses. Both are already operational. I have a concern that this is our last liquor license at this time. We don't know if and when we will be getting more that we can grant. And the future is unknown. We have other potential developments, potential commercial establishments that are looking at Scio Township. And they might be proposed, a larger venue might be proposed. We don't know. So I would favor holding on to it for now. Not necessarily forever. And I think it makes better use of the one last liquor license to wait a little while longer. If we don't have a bigger, larger venue come in time, I would be fine granting it to one of these businesses. But at this point, I'd like to hold off.
Other people who haven't spoken yet? Kathleen?
Yeah, there were some comments that last meeting that there are other options, and my natural tendency is to go to do the research, and I went and did the research. So Scio Township is allowed 12 Class C liquor licenses based on our population. So it's not likely that we're going to get another one anytime soon. I don't know what the threshold is. I don't know if it's 20,000, but that's what it's based on. It is a valuable commodity. In prior boards, I do not believe have exercised such diligence in researching this, and licenses have been passed out, and now we're constrained by that. We only have one left. I also researched the capability of getting one from a DDA. The way I read that is it would take $20,000 to get a DDA license. I don't know if that was a consideration for Hometown Pizza. I know they went to the DDA. I don't know what happened after that. And I've also found out that the way to get for entities to get a license is to buy one, buy an existing one that's in escrow. These licenses are very valuable. I've been to the webpage where they auction them. They go for $50,000 and above. I think we need to think long and hard about how we distribute a Class C license. My feeling is a Class C license should go to a larger establishment that will take full advantage of it. There is the possibility for an entity that has a Class C to sell that, and so it automatically imparts roughly $50,000 worth of equity to that party. The other avenues I've seen to attain a license is if there are entities within Washtenaw County that have license in escrow, meaning that they have a valid license, they're not currently utilizing it. A good example is Mancino's, who was granted a Class C. They closed, they put their license into escrow. The time period for expiration and renewal of that is April 30th, 2026. That is an avenue for these parties to potentially contact that business or other businesses. You can find on the state webpage for Washtenaw County who has active or escrowed licenses. If there was a different kind of license, which I believe these entities are looking for, which is strictly beer and wine, it would be easier to distribute that than to, this is a Solomon's baby, right? Then try to split, who would we give it to? My preference would be a larger entity that serves the residents for Scio for their needs, strictly based on using all aspects of the license, spirits, alcohol, or spirits, beer, and wine, and that we can hold that in consideration for upcoming developments. Maybe we do it for a year, I don't know. But I think that license should be distributed to an entity that serves more of Scio residents and our neighbors who would come and frequent that establishment. So based on my research, I am advocating for holding the Class C license at this point. I know there are other avenues that could be pursued. Anyway, I'm not going to give anybody advice on how to do that, but you could have a club, a nonprofit, so have memberships, and then charge for the alcohol, beer, wine that you sell. I'm not advising any way. There's a tavern license that Mancino's has. That in itself is unique. We can't get more, the state no longer allows tavern licenses as of 2006. Mancino's has that. I encourage these folks to look for different avenues. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. David or Ryan, did you have anything to say? Ryan?
So, I think I have an interesting idea, and I don't have it fully vetted out, admittedly, at this point at least. I know John has floated the idea of recreating a DDA for liquor license purposes, amongst other reasons, potentially other things. One of the things we could do, which has been done elsewhere, is a social district. I don't know all the legalities. I don't know how we could, if we could do one continuous district for the entirety of Jackson Road, for example, or if we could include other areas. There's some investigation to do, but it seems that within the social district concept that the MLCC has, we could have a lot more liquor licenses if we wanted to allow for them. Just an interesting novel concept that would solve this problem. We could retain the quota license and still give both applicants, if we decide, a liquor license. Probably not tonight, but eventually if we wanted to proceed in that direction. Thanks.
Thanks, Brian. David?
I just did a quick AI search, and what I found is that Michigan Class C licenses are awarded one for every 1,500 people in population. So we currently have 12, and I think we have 12 because we have more than 16,751 people, because they divide it in half. So if you get more than half of 1,500, you get the next license. So currently, what is our population? I thought our population was somewhere around 17.
Yeah, closer to 18.
Close to 18. Okay, so our next license, 12 times 15 is 18,000. So our next license will come available when it's 18,751. Now, Ember Grove, if that goes forward, that's 257 homes, which probably is going to be at least 500, if not 600 people. We have Heritage Woods, we have, and I think the area by you, Ryan.
Woodview Commons.
Woodview Commons, is that even fully, that's not fully populated
It's
yet.
not fully populated, it's probably
Right.
60,
And
70%.
Neither is Scio View. So I would think that within the next year.
Is that based on census count? That's the problem.
That's a very good question. So the next, you mean you have to wait for 10 years?
I don't know. It's just,
I think it is.
it's
You
just a
think it's a
question.
decennial? Oh, okay. Well,
Which
I
puts
don't know.
it 2030.
So, but we are going to be growing, and we will be available. We will have another license coming up at some point in time. So I think I'd be in favor of moving forward with approving one now on the basis of fact that another one will become available I hope, in the near future. No.
Thank you. Mariah, I just have a procedural question. If we were to take action tonight, I know you'd done some additional research. Our model motion, I think, is no longer a model. It would be to direct staff to draft a resolution of approval or denial. And then there is a next sentence: if a recommendation of approval is granted, a public hearing will be scheduled at the next meeting. And I think that should be struck.
I agree.
And also in terms of the staff drafting a resolution, would that be necessary, or could we not just approve one because the resolution form is provided by the state?
That's correct. There is a resolution form in the packet, I believe.
Okay. I just wanted to say for the board, this wouldn't be like the resolution of denial that we did on Piper Ridge. It wouldn't have to come back. We could just make a decision tonight if we so chose to. So I would recommend that if we do so. Is there further discussion, or would somebody like to make a motion? I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve the applicant DKY Sushi 283 South Seab Suite H for the liquor license. Is there support?
Support.
Motion by Flintoff, support by Reed. Further discussion?
I'm just going to say I'm going to vote no on both of these. I know there's one out there in the marketplace that maybe one of these parties can pick up, but I'm going to be voting no on both if there's a motion to approve it for the pizza place, because I want to, this is kind of a planning concept. What do we want to do with our remaining liquor license in Scio Township, ideally somewhere on Jackson Road?
Great. And I'll be supporting this because we have an existing, longer-standing, hardworking, as local as can be business right before us tonight who could use a hand. Okay, tonight we start with Flintoff. Flintoff, yes. Brandt?
No.
Noel?
No.
Reed?
Yes.
Reiser?
No.
Yeaple?
No.
Motion fails 2-4. Is there any other motion? Also, no motion, no
make a
action. Go ahead, Kathleen, excuse me.
I would make a motion that the township put a moratorium on issuing the Class C liquor license for a period of 12 months.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Could, a motion to impose a moratorium for issuing a Class C liquor license for a period of 12 months.
And Trustee Brandt, I'm not opposed to that. I just want to make sure that we're not going to get afoul of the liquor and Michigan Liquor License Control Commission, the LCC Liquor Control Commission. Like is it shall issue or must issue, or do we have the right to hold it back? That's would be my concern. So I guess I would ask for a friendly amendment subject to approval or review by Township Council of that?
Yeah, I would not, I'm not excited about doing an unlawful motion. And further, the social district is the one thing I did not research. I will look into that and.
I'd offer a motion, once you're done, to direct our project manager to research the social district.
One motion
Yeah.
on the table.
But I'll bring that in a minute.
I would ask trustees Brandt and Knoll if you might consider a friendly amendment. I'm cognizant of how much time and money these applicants have just spent getting this far in the process. And so I would wonder if you really want to have a moratorium, that we might have a moratorium on applications, so that we're not wasting people's time and money.
I don't have a problem with that.
I'm not sure what you're saying differently than my motion.
I thought it was a moratorium on the issuance.
And you're saying?
A moratorium on even accepting an application for.
Oh, sure. That makes sense to me. I mean, if anybody wants to amend my motion for 6 months, I'm fine with that.
And again, what would we be doing during this 12 months of nothing?
Shall we call the question?
Sure.
Well, can you read the question? 'Cause I know
Sure.
that's someone
Motion by Brandt, let me know if I have it right. Motion by Brandt, support by Knoll, to impose a moratorium for the acceptance of applications for the Class C liquor license for 12 months, subject to review of this motion by the township attorney.
The only by way of discussion is 12 months the way to go, or should we do a 6-month period? That's, I'll ask this body, for those who are opposed it, they might want a shorter period. While we study this issue, we would look into the potential creation of a DDA that might be able to meet out DDA licenses, or the potential creation of a social district, which my understanding allows currently licensed licensees, Class C, to get a social district where you can serve and go around your social district. But this is a moratorium where we kind of rethink this on a broader vision. That's my takeaway. So I'm okay with 1 year, but I'm also okay with 6 months if somebody wants to posit that time frame.
I think we're going to need 12 months. It's going to take a long time to do all of this.
And we can always.
Public
redo our motion.
hearings.
We can always redo our motion. You know, we can always stop the moratorium in the future earlier if we need to.
I'm open to that friendly amendment, Jim.
So friendly amendment to change it from 12 months to 6 months. Noel, you're the seconder. Is that friendly?
Okay, I'll go along with it.
Did you make it, the friendly amendment? Or I'll make it if you're giving me the make it riser look.
I'm saying I'm open to that friendly.
Yeah, she's the motion maker and the seconder both agreed to your friendly amendment.
Okay, and I made it pursuant to the look I'm getting.
So it would be motion by Brandt, support by Knoll, to impose a moratorium for the acceptance of applications for the Class C liquor license for 6 months, subject to review of this motion by the township attorney. Okay, I'm going to do a roll call vote. Flintoff? No. Brandt?
Yes.
Knoll?
Yes.
Reed?
No.
Riser?
Yes.
Yapel?
No.
All right, motion fails 3-3. Is there any other motion anybody would like to offer?
Do we need to have a motion that passes or fails with respect to the other applicant? so that they know.
We don't need to, but I think it would be good form if you're wanting to make that motion.
But if I make the motion, I would be voting against the motion, but I'm willing to put such a motion forward.
For clarity of the record. Yep.
Sure. Yeah.
Go for it.
So, I move that Scio Township grant the remaining Class C liquor license to the other applicant who was in my packet.
To Hometown
Pizza
Pizza.
/ Under Par Ann Arbor.
Is there support?
Oh,
Wait a minute.
I'm sorry, there's a model motion, let's not wing it, Riser. I'm going to the model motion under, and that would be to direct staff to draft a resolution of approval, if a recommendation of approval is granted, public hearing will be scheduled.
Can you read the original motion of this item, please?
I thought I just did.
Model motion is wrong.
Okay.
Clerk Flintoff, can you read that for?
John, we, would you be open to just making a motion to approve Hometown Pizza Under Par Ann Arbor for the liquor license? Just that simple?
Is that what the other one was?
Yeah.
Yes, I'd like to
Okay.
replicate the other one.
Okay.
Thank you, ladies, for your help.
Is there support?
I'll support it, but for the same reasons.
Motion by Riser, support by Yeaple to grant the license to Hometown Pizza Under Par Ann Arbor. Any discussion? Okay, I will call the question, starting with Flintoff. Flintoff, no? Brandt?
No.
Noel?
No.
Reed?
No.
Riser?
No?
Yeaple?
No.
Motion fails, 0-6.
And I make one more motion if that's okay. Motion to direct the township project manager to review MLCC's social district program for Scio Township and present a report to the township board on March the 10th.
I'll support that motion.
Motion by Yeaple, support by Brandt. In terms of discussion, I just want to ask Christie. Christie, is that feasible for the project manager to get that done by March 10th?
I can give an update to the board.
Okay.
I won't know until.
I'm just putting that as a target date here. I'm
Sure.
flexible if it needs to move. But
I don't see an issue, but
I just want to set some expectations of when to report back
Sure.
instead of making it open-ended.
thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion? All right, a motion by Yeaple, support by Brandt to direct the project manager to review the social district, and I'm sorry, Ryan, what was the site?
The Michigan Liquor Control Commission Social District Program.
Thank you. And get it back to the board by March 10th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Any other discussion or motions on this topic?
No.
No.
I want to thank both of the applicants for being here. Thank you very much. Jillian?
Yes, thank you. Looks like our last item, K8 Piper Ridge, conditional rezoning.
Can I, since I pulled this, can I speak on this? I don't think we need to rehash this. I will rely on the comments that I made at the last meeting that are reflected in the minutes. So I anticipate a motion, and then it probably won't go my way, but I just wanted to record my, my contrary vote. Thank you. But not all at once on the motion.
And I will also rely on my previous reasons stated on the record. Thanks.
Well, this was on January 13th, correct?
Yep.
And this is, yeah, I read through this and so from my understanding is that it was originally zoned RM-3 multiple family residential. And then at one point, and I don't know if it was this developer or a different developer, that they had requested a PUD. Was it the same developer?
Or do they purchase, does anybody know that?
This is a different
This is a new
developer.
developer. It's a new developer, okay, so that new developer, they had nothing to do with the previous 55 and up, or 55 plus age community. So basically, this PUD is stuck on this parcel, and no matter who purchases it, has to follow this PUD.
Well,
Laura is online, she might be able to speak to that better. I wouldn't say that that's necessarily, so what they're trying to do is conditionally rezone it to something else. They might still be able to make an amendment to the PUD. Laura?
Hi, Laura.
Can she hear us?
Yeah, the PUD can be amended, so that is an option for this parcel. This new developer, though, took the conditional rezoning route. So there are many options to, the development of this property. It could be a PUD, some sort of modified PUD from the original. It could be conditionally rezoned, or we could go back to straight rezoning of the parcel as MR3 or RM3 as it used to be previous to the PUD. So a developer could request any of those. The township typically doesn't rezone properties without the applicant or property owner requesting that rezoning. So that's why it's continued to remain PUD to this point.
Okay, and then, so this developer or owner, whatever, has requested to go back to the original zoning. But
No.
No, oh, it's different, okay, that's what.
It's a conditional rezoning. So a conditional rezoning is a rezoning where the property owner applicant voluntarily provides conditions that they place upon themselves in the rezoning or development of that property. And so they've provided 5 or 6 conditions that they would place upon themselves. They're noted in my report and on the agenda item information.
And the planning commission voted in approval 5-1 of this, with the request.
They did.
I was just a little concerned that this PUD, like any developer that came along would have to do the 55 plus age community and nothing else, but you're saying that it can be different, which actually they have proposed something and the planning commission accepted it 5-1, but this board at the last meeting has denied it.
Correct.
Can I ask you a question, please?
Sure.
Laura, if this were to revert back to a by right zoning classification consistent with adjacent properties and where it is, what would it likely be if it weren't PUD?
I think it would probably, to be consistent with the master plan, it would revert back to its original zoning, which was the MR3 multifamily.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution of denial for Piper Ridge conditional rezoning number OA 25010.
Support. Call the question, please.
Flintoff, yes. Brandt?
Yes.
Noel?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
Riser?
No?
Carrie?
No.
Gapel?
No.
Resolution adopted, 4-3.
Okay, there's no new business, and now we are, right, that's the last thing?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay, public comment. This is a time for members of the public to speak to the Board of Trustees for up to 5 minutes on any matter. I don't know if that is going through. And we begin with anybody here that's present.
Again. Can it actually work? Yeah, because you can't hear anything back there. Doesn't sound, so just.
It projects out there more than backwards, yeah.
Too bad. Okay, I just want to say, look, guys, I listened to the comments, the public comment, and the well-spoken words by fellow residents and you board members pleading for cooperation and for a calmer public comment. But I don't think that you guys fully realize how you look out here to the public. And frankly, the reason why we're vocal is because we're angry. We're vocal because we are loud and vocal, and we were loud and vocal with Hathaway, much too much of your betterment when we were loud and vocal with Hathaway. It was on your behalf before. And we're mad because we see misconduct, we see violations, we see stalling, important issues not addressed. We see the inflexible treatment of the DDA, for example. And lastly, the discussion at the last meeting of the resolution to ban the supervisor. As others have mentioned, going to the nuclear option without giving many attempts to rectify, Ian's suggestion for a leadership class and a facilitator, whether you have to go through 1, 5, 10, do it. And 201, in the final discussion, you all pointed at Jillian, 201. Not one of you had the stones to say, you know, I admit I may have contributed to some of the morale problem at a township hall. Instead, you pointed the finger out. This overarching kind of statement of, well, yeah, okay, well, it takes two to tango is kind of, it's patronizing. If we saw Ryan say, you know what, I've done shit. If we see Jessica say, I've done shit. If we see Kathleen say, you know what, I've done shit. That would move the needle. It would move the needle. But the discussion at the end of that last meeting, you all pointed outward. Not one of you stepped up. We get mad, we see the unfairness, we see the opacity of what you're doing now. You campaign on transparency, we're seeing opacity right now. Opacity, whatever, however we say that. And we get mad. And I'm just calling a spade, the way it looks to us from outside, and we're mad. Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. Anyone else present?
I'm addressing my comment to the entire board. My outburst a little while ago was prompted by the fact that the subject was regarding a meeting that took 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago was plenty of time for our supervisor to have brought her displeasure to the attention of our clerk off-site. I felt that it was very inappropriate for our supervisor to attack and start a fight with our clerk right here at the board table. That is not adult. I'm not a babysitter, but I find that behavior very inappropriate and should not have happened. So excuse me for speaking up when I find it totally intolerable. We need to behave like adults, starting with you. Please approach your other board members as an adult, but it doesn't have to be in public where everyone else can see the dysfunction. It starts right there. Thank you.
Thanks, Pat.
Thanks, Pat.
Anyone else present? Okay, Christie.
Thank you. First up is Rob Pattinson, followed by Paula Gloverson. Go ahead, Rob.
Rob Pattinson, Scio Township resident. Belisha stepped up during the transition from Rebecca to Nikki. Where is the extra pay for all the extra duties she took on? As you have systematically removed responsibilities from Jillian, you have just as systematically piled them onto Christy. Where is the extra pay for that? And you insist on calling her the office coordinator when she truly is the interim manager now with all these extra jobs she does. Now that Becky is the signing authority in assessing, will her pay reflect that? I think during the last meeting you said that if you're not going to dock Andrea's pay, then you're not going to give Becky a raise. Is that fair? All three of these people deserve salary adjustments. To clarify Jessica's assumption that Jillian gave me information, Jessica, you guessed wrong. I got an email yesterday from Fran sending me the Zoom link for meeting recordings. I was surprised she was working while the building was closed. Then I asked some questions and found out that people were called in to work from as far away as over an hour. Jillian never, I repeat, never sent me anything about Christie's email. So while you find my concern for employee safety during severe weather odd, I find your arbitrary assumption of the power to decide who comes in disturbing, since we found out just how hostile the work environment in Scio is. So Jessica, the issue remains. As far as I understand it, you have taken it upon yourself without the approval of the board to decide who is called into Scio when the building is closed. Considering we have several people who live over an hour away, I believe it is the duty of this board to establish what the essential services are and put in place policies and procedures that keep them safe so that you are not putting employees in danger by making them travel during severe weather. Jessica, your apology to Aurora and Christy after what you did to Andrea was disgusting. It demonstrates a severe lack of awareness and significant flaws in your judgment. Ryan, you interrupting Jillian and calling a 5-minute recess while she is itemizing the abuse is equally disgusting. Pat Stein, please stop interfering with our board meetings. You've done it to me during my public comments, and now you're doing it to Jillian.
Please direct your comments to the board.
Rather than asking you to be quiet, Ryan took advantage of the moment to shut Jillian up. Ryan, the next time a member of the public interrupts the meeting, will you please ask them to be quiet rather than using the moment for political advantage? Jessica, during my last closing public comments, you interrupted me to tell me I could not be more wrong. Do you really think we will believe you when you say I'm wrong when I told you I think it's your decision to put public shaming on the agenda? Do you really think we'll believe you that Aurora did that all by herself and not at your direction? Do you really think we'll believe that if you tell Christy to put something on the agenda or to remove it, she won't? Micromanaging is the definition of this township's leadership, and I don't believe you would give up that kind of control. After tonight's example of apologizing to Aurora and Christy after you spent an hour and a half roasting Andrea over the coals just confirms our questioning your judgment. And here's what I believe proves the intent of publicly shaming Andrea. Not one of you ever asked once about the new safeguards put in place to make sure it never happens again, nor did any of you make any recommendations about any safeguards. I believe that shows you weren't interested in preventing it from happening again, just interested in making sure Andrea paid a very heavy price in public. That represents both galactic incompetence and cruelty. In my closing comments last time, I asked Kathleen if she was saying it's okay for the board to attack Andrea, but not okay for me to attack Aurora. I would like to change my language. I'm sure we disagree, but I believe I was exposing the method of attacking Andrea. Aurora is simply the convenient tool or weapon this township's leadership used in this case. I don't hold it against Aurora. I think she's only doing what she is directed to do. Again, Aurora, I apologize. There was no other way to specify the method without using your name. Please take advantage of Ian's suggestion. Get a management consultant in to help. A mediator isn't enough. Too much damage has been done. You all need feedback from a professional about how your actions impact employees and residents. Clearly, some significant training is needed for all of you. I repeat, for all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
Next up is Paula Gloverson, followed by John Boyd. Go ahead, Paula.
Yeah, I was on the just feed and it would cut in and out. So, and I'm doing other things while I listen to you all. So I missed some portion of it. But I did come in and see Andrea. I did not leave her a note. I wanted to say in my field, in medical field, sometimes some very, very horrible things happen. And first off, you write the incident up because the worst thing you can do legally is to not explain it. And I said to her, that's why it was good to explain it in public. Because if for some reason the state takes over our roles, and I know Andrea, she's a person who wants to, I think she tries to be very much of a perfectionist. So that's where the embarrassment comes in. But uh, all these things happen. And when we have our meeting about a sentinel event of everyone who is involved, it's also to look at how to change it so it doesn't happen again. And sometimes there are punitive things involved. I think that one of the problems, and this goes way back to when that young fireman, uh, how Mr. Pattinson knew about his background, and to bring that out in public, to me, that was an HR nightmare. And I think some of these things are being shared by whoever, and it is hurtful to the township to do that. And I think we all remember when our last supervisor distributed an internal document and faxed it out to people, and the hubbub that went on during that meeting. And, you know, I'm into transparency, but I think some things need to be handled internally. And I think, you know, when Clerk Flintoff had her anonymous note delivered to her, everyone should go back and listen to that. She never said, she just said that it because of her being an election official and her gender. And I personally am offended, uh, uh, whether it's a lesbian, um, Muslim, or Jewish, or whatever. We can't say, oh, I'm not going to trigger you by saying, just the initial. I think we're all better than that. And a lot of this is hurting. I talk to people about issues like how much their water is costing, what's going on with this, what's being built here, how many trees are going to be cut down over there. And I might have missed, I hope Kathleen Brandt is the alternate for the River watershed. And I think there's been leaking, and I don't appreciate when I continually see articles or a person continually says they're going to sue our township, because that's my money and everybody else's money that could be used to fix something, whether it's put a traffic light in or a culvert, out of the general fund. And I'm really disappointed because it's hurting our township residents. And most people don't know all the background of all this stuff. I'm probably one of the few that listens to these things and sometimes re-listens after I hear a public comment and I want to clarify what was said. But, that's my advice, is stop threatening to sue the township. Stop sharing internal information. Keep it internal until some policy. And personally, every profession has a code of conduct, whether it's nurses, nurse anesthetists, physicians, lawyers. And I actually sent a message to Ryan that I appreciated that code of conduct. Anyway, that's it. And save the trees. And I still appreciate, and you're a good board. We've done so many great things here. And I personally think with some tweaking, we can move forward. And that's it.
Thank you,
Anyway,
Paula.
have a good night.
Thanks,
Same to
Paula.
you.
Thanks, Paula.
Okay, next up is John Boyd. Go ahead, John.
myself. All right, it's actually Pam. Can you hear me
Go
now?
ahead, Pam.
Yep.
All right, John and Kathy, I appreciate your comments that it would make your meeting work better if there wasn't so much negativity. No disrespect, but do you really not understand where our negativity comes from? It is in direct correlation to your behavior. If you want flowers and pretty poems from us, then you need to show us flowers and poems during these board meetings with each other. Your behavior toward assessing at the last meeting was damaging to Scio government, but mostly damaging not just to assessing employees, but to all of our employees. They saw how you grilled her. Now, show us that you can work with each other, then residents will not call you out for your dysfunction. And along that line, David, I want to thank you. Here's a nice comment. I want to thank you for your quick efforts to research other townships on a work from home protocol for Scio. You see, residents can say something nice when you guys look like you're doing your job. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thanks, Pam. Thank you, Pam.
Is there anyone else? Please raise your Zoom hand. There are no hands raised.
Okay. Board member response. Any, sorry, any board member? Yeah, I can't. Trustee Noel.
Yeah, I want to respond to something that was said, a couple things that were said. First of all, comments were made about Andrea being interrogated at our last board meeting. That was never the intent. I talked to Andrea today. We had a long discussion. And she is not upset. She wants to move on. Also, I was under the impression that Andrea chose to have a public meeting when she could have gone into closed session.
That's true. We confirmed that with her before we kept it in open session.
Okay. At the last meeting. So, I mean, she willingly participated in this forum, but she wants to move on, and she wants to work with all of us, which is what she said to me today. It's like a direct quote. So I'm going to try to do it, and I think others on this board are going to try to do it also. So I just wanted to correct a statement that had been made that none of us had talked with assessing or something to that effect. That it might not be exactly what was said, but it was something to that effect. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Treasurer Evil.
Thank you. Rob, department heads and officials determine who is an essential employee to be at the office. Our handbook even says that exempt employees will be granted compensatory time for every hour worked when required to work. Non-exempt employees will be granted time and a half for every hour worked when requested to work by their supervisor during the time that the offices are closed. That's our policy. Paula Kathleen was appointed as the alternate to the Huron Watershed Council, just to confirm. Also regarding, Rob, your comments earlier, I mean, we did adopt the code of conduct. I appreciate everybody's input and feedback towards it. One of the bullets out there is that public servants shall ensure that government is conducted openly, efficiently, equitably, and honorably in a manner that permits the citizenry to make informed judgments and to hold government officials accountable. Absolutely, everyone is welcome to come to public comment and hold us accountable and share their comments. But we also have to run a meeting where we can communicate. Thanks.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Rob for your comments. I want to ask, I think Renee had offered to help. I'm sure, I don't know if others expressly have, but I'm sure you would, that if you hear from, staff or whoever, and they have a complaint or a concern, I would just ask that you encourage them to raise it with their direct supervisor, with whomever they feel comfortable with. But it is ineffective and dysfunctional to hear concerns for the first time from the public and only from the public. I appreciate, it is, if there are things where there's a staff person who is upset about a salary or I don't know, coming into work and getting paid time and a half to do that, coming in voluntarily to work to get paid time and a half, which is what happened yesterday. Optional time and a half. If someone is complaining to you, encourage them to take it up with the township. I appreciate they want to take it up with the public as well, and that's great, but have them bring it to their direct supervisor. If they're not comfortable with their direct supervisor, then to someone else, human resources. Ryan's our management liaison, our attorney. I don't care who, but somebody in the township needs to know. And Christy certainly, being the person who supervises the most staff, has her finger on the pulse of things. I also just want to thank Paula for always being so kind to everyone, whether it's flowers to Andrea or a card to me. And I do also appreciate you, Paula, for always paying such close attention to what is actually said and actually written, and appreciate your accurate reporting of that.
Trustee Brandt?
I wasn't going to say anything, but then I thought I must. I also talked to Andrea on the Thursday of that meeting. We had a very good conversation. I think she and I are, we like each other. We're good.
Okay, anybody else? Trustee Reed?
A couple things. Jessica, I'm confused. Your comments just now seem to contradict the memo that was put out a month or so ago about,
Chain of command?
I'm sorry, chain of command, yeah, because it seemed to imply that if staff has a problem with something, that they bring it to somebody in the township, whether it's their manager or HR, or bring it to the township. Now, of course, that's difficult if the problem they have is with their manager.
Right.
So who do they go to? And so what you said implies that they could come to any of us.
No, thank you, David. I think it's set forth in that memo or our handbook. I'd have to look at what it is. I think it says if, go to your supervisor. If you have a problem with your supervisor, I think it says HR manager, but we'd have to look at the handbook. Whoever it is, there's got to be an outlet. There always is if it's somebody has a problem with their supervisor.
What's the next choice?
Well, say somebody didn't feel comfortable going to Christie, then they would go to their HR manager, and I'd have to refer back to the handbook, because I just don't know off the top of my head, David. We'd have to look at it.
Okay.
But if that's actually a problem, that should be addressed, and not just in the kind of hypothetical.
Okay.
Trustee Noel, did you have your hand up?
No, I already spoke.
Oh, I thought you raised your hand.
You're an adult.
Oh, I'm sorry.
When is my turn? When is my turn?
No, it is your turn. I apologize. It was his hand, not yours.
So-
Should have known the difference.
3 things came up to me that are potential horizon issues down the road that we might have to contend with. One is if we want to stop Dexter from annexing our land, we should give some thought as to what protections becoming a charter township would extend to us. And perhaps at the next attorney meeting, staff could broach that subject, and maybe we could get a memorandum of law to that effect. The board could. 2 is because there was a snow day, which is my words, growing up, as we called them, a snow day yesterday, that there was like I say, different sides of the people coming in, not coming in. One of the things that may have given some relief on that, maybe obviated the need for the declaration of the emergency, would be a work-at-home policy that could have addressed it. So to the extent that Trustee Reed wants to look at others and see what they do, and I would love to hear what he has to say on that. And the other is I wanted like hell to give both these people a liquor license and say, go forth and multiply, but I couldn't do that. But we could have done that if we had a DDA license and they were gonna spend enough money that the state requires to develop it and putting in new fixtures and redoing it. So or one could get the DDA, one could get the quota. So is there any thought among this board about maybe we could do another DDA that starts out at very minimal dollars and captures it and as it is lawfully allowed to do, that maybe has a longer footprint, or maybe it goes down Wagner to Liberty where there's commerce and maybe it has the scope of what we want the future for that corridor to be. So would this board be amenable to the creation of a new DDA? I know in Ann Arbor, they're going northward and they're doing things and they're changing their DDA ordinance. And so I just asked this board if that's something we could be interested in creating. By we, I mean certainly Ryan Gapel doing the work and not me. But that was a joke. But just something to think about.
Okay, actually, in the Planning Commission report, it does talk about the master plan is due to be revised or to be updated.
Yes.
Yeah, and maybe that's a time where the Planning Commission can look to see about the DDA to reestablish that. And also, we had the Jackson Road, they changed the name like 3 or 4 times. Overlay, whatever.
That's what's doing that planning, yeah.
Yeah, but all of that, because then it would, if they recommend a DDA, then that would help fund a lot of the ideas. And then also, I was listening to the liquor license. I would hate to see us block other businesses coming in, or even the established businesses, because from having liquor license, because that would help them and that would help attract more people to Scio. One last thing, I believe it was Rob said something about Treasurer Yapel, you were to shut down, people talking from the public, and that is the statutory duty of the moderator. And also, it is also the board, we are here, we have 2 public comments at 5 minutes each, and that is the time for the public to speak. The rest of the time is for the board to do its business. And this is stated in law in Michigan Township Association and whatnot. So comments need to be in the beginning and at the end, because it's just disruptive. And everybody on this board, if we agree with what you're saying or what we're saying or not, has a right to speak because we were elected to do so. Okay. Unless there's anything else?
Motion to adjourn. Support.
And at what time?
8:58.
Provided we say yes.
All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Good meeting.
9 o'clock.
There was one that was like 2.5 hours. Most of the stuff.
I know.
3 hours.